Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, part 2 of show updates. Well, as I said at the beginning of part 1 of this series, sometimes you watch a YouTube channel and you think, yeah, well that's great, but how has this stood the test of time? Well, that's what this show is about, both bringing updates to things that either have worked or things that have failed, or ways that I have changed projects. And it's also an opportunity for me to showcase or bring to your attention some older programs that may or may not interest you. But if it does, by all means, check it out. I'll be sure to drop all the links below. Guys, enough talking. Let's get with the first update. Well, it wasn't that long ago that the multi-part build of the Workbench was done. And I thought you guys might like an update on it as far as what would I change, what would I do differently, and that sort of thing. As far as the material I chose, which was maple, I wouldn't change a thing. It's been rock hard, rock solid. It does have a few dings and dents, but come on, it's a Workbench. It's supposed to. I mean, I'd love for it to be pristine for the rest of its life, but in order to do that, I wouldn't be able to make any projects, and that's not acceptable to me either. The choices I made for both the front and the tail vise were spot on. I wouldn't change either one, and the tool tray is perfect. The sweep out, I love it. The height worked out perfectly for me. One thing though, as far as an update goes, that I would change is I would like more bench dog holes. I have these across the front and as well on the tail vise section, but I just find it isn't enough. I want more, and I think it would be better if I had a row across the back. Even for things like planing stops, I only have this front row. It's really not that versatile. So I think a row at the back in order to help me with plane stops and that sort of thing would be an asset. So update, yeah, I'd add more bench dog holes. But other than that, I love this bench and I wish I'd made it sooner. Well, next here on my update show is this wonderful contraption. And just for the fact that I called it a wonderful contraption can give you an idea of what I think of it. This is my dowel making jig for the router table. And I put a show on quite some time ago showing you how to make your own. And if you're someone who needs various size dowels in your shop of various species, and you want exact sizes, this jig is for you. This thing is spectacular, but it's not without its downfalls. And what the downfall is this center block. Now this center block, of course, being maple, sure, it's rock hard, but we can see charring and smoking here around the outside of this exit hole, which is what guides the dowel out to form its final shape. And unfortunately, because of the wear and tear that this thing takes with the friction of the wood rubbing as it comes out, these things end up being destroyed and they need to be replaced. So I had a viewer actually who suggested that he was going to try that instead of drilling these holes just in the maple, he was going to place a steel plate across here for both the entry and the exit hole with precision drilled holes in order to guide the dowels out. Now, you know what? As an update, I thought that was a pretty darn great idea and I wanted to bring it to your attention. And although I haven't tried it yet, I will be in the future, and on a future update show, I will, of course, let you know how that worked out for me. Guys, if you have tried this yourself and made the steel plates front and back, or even made the block itself out of steel, I don't have the ability to do that really, but if somebody out there did, let me know how it works out. I would love to hear about it. But my update for this, the only thing I would change here, honestly, would be trying to make this center block a little more not replaceable, a little more permanent. And I think that steel plate idea would just work perfectly. Well, once again, we have hit an update where the project wasn't exactly a winner over time, and that would be this one, and that is making a glue spreader. You know what, guys? In theory, it's a great idea, but unless you have the time to sit there and clean the glue out of those threads all the time, it really became cumbersome. And in all honesty, that glue spreader was eventually removed from the shop because I honestly found it was more trouble than what it was worth. The wood glue that dried in those threads made it completely unusable and a total failure. But you know what? That's all part of being out here in the shop, trying new things. And I try new things all the time and I present them to you here on the show. Some work and some don't. So for me, this one just failed miserably. But you know what? It was a fun show and I enjoyed bringing it to you. But they can't all be winners, guys. This one was no winner, I guarantee you. All right, so one of the more fun projects that I've ever produced on the show, and one that unfortunately got kind of brushed off to the side and didn't get as much attention as I would have liked it to, was this one. And that is the wooden kazoo. And I'm telling you guys, if you've got kids, make some of these for your kids. I know it's noisy, I know it's annoying, but good gosh, the memories you create for those children will last a lifetime. And who knows where they'll take that musical ability just from playing a kazoo. You never know. So what's the update? The update on this one is that through experimentation, I have found that what you need to do is have that resonating cap as close to the blowhole as you can without making it awkward to use. The closer to your mouth you place that resonator, the louder and the better sound quality you get from it. Now, I know, good sound quality from a kazoo, come on, but the kazoo's a great instrument. Anybody can play it and anybody can have fun with it, and that's what makes this project such a great one. So why not enhance it by moving that resonator closer to the mouth or the sound hole? So there you go, guys. There's the update on the kazoos, and honestly, the link is below. You gotta give this one a try. It really is a load of fun. Well, the next project that I want to update and bring to your attention is this one. And what this is my BBQ Scraper. And I was actually very flattered on this because one of the manufacturers of this type of scraper actually commented on the show in the comments section to say what a great job I had done on it. And I thought, honestly, I thought that was A1 and quite the compliment to me to have someone who does this for a living tell me that I did a great job. And they actually provided a suggestion for the rounding over and that sort of thing for me as well. So kudos to them for that. What's the update? You know, my barbecue grill is not one that is the rails. It is like one of those cast iron ones that has the cross pieces. I'm not sure if you know what I mean, but I find that these scrapers don't work that well on that type of a grill. And while I still use it, I find that what happens as you're going through the motions of scraping, it's hitting on those cross pieces, which causes problems. So I'm not telling you not to make one of these. I'm telling you to consider the grill that you're making it for. And if it is a grill that has just straight rails across it, these things are phenomenal and they work really well. If it's one like mine that is the cast iron with crossbars as well that are all on the same level, it can cause you some issues while trying to scrape, and it just takes a little more work to do the scraping. That's all there is to it. To alleviate that, you may want to narrow the size of the blade. That would be my suggestion at this point. But other than that, it's still a great project. It's still a lot of fun, and it's still very useful and a great gift idea. So don't discount it from your list of projects to do or fun things to make for gift ideas. Well, I demonstrated quite some time ago on the show how to dress a wheel, a grinding wheel, using the Wolverine jig and all of this other jazz. And that video actually generated quite a bit of concern because I mentioned that that wheel had taken quite an impact, let's say, as it flew off of the grinder. And I think people missed the point of the show. And what the point of the show was showing you how to dress it. So the update here is I just want to let those who were concerned know that that wheel has since been taken out of commission. Those people were 100% right that that wheel should not be in service after taking an impact like that, because physically I have no way of knowing that it is structurally sound. And that makes it dangerous. And for the price of a new grinding wheel, it's better just to get rid of the darn thing and save your face from when that thing explodes at you and hits your face shield, etc., etc. So, update guys, I want to thank you all for your concern on that. The wheel has been taken out of commission, and I appreciate all of your comments there. But don't lose sight of what that show really was about, and that was showing you how to dress the wheel. But at least it's out of commission now. No harm, no foul, no one will get hurt from that, and we can move on. Well, quite some time ago, I showed you guys how to make this little puppy, and that would be the can crusher. And I did say at the time it was quite an experiment, and I was goofing around with it, trying to make it work. I wasn't sure what I was doing, and this is what it ended up to be. So how did it fare out, or how did it work after all this time now and after all this use? Because let me tell you, this thing has crushed a gajillion cans. Yes, gajillion is a number. No, it isn't. Anyway, this thing has been solid, rock solid. The oak has not weathered or worn at all. Those plastic bushings or rails that I put up in here actually have been phenomenal. I can't even describe how phenomenal they have been when it comes to the wear that they prevent. They just help everything glide. What would I change about this build? Not a darn thing. This thing has been awesome, and if you're interested in this monstrosity, check the video out and make one. And I'm telling you guys, this thing is just a blast to use. I mean, there's something satisfying about putting something into something that you made and crushing the heck out of it. I don't know what it is, but I love it. It works great, and yes, I'd make it again. Well, one of my more controversial subjects or projects due to people being a little gun shy was my pellet trap. And I've made modifications to it since the day that I made it just to suit my own needs. So let's have a look at the bench over here and we'll talk about those modifications. Well, here we have our pellet trap, and it's taken one heck of a lot of abuse, but the original pellet trap had carpets or mats that hung down at the back, and they took the brunt of the pellets and allowed them to drop into the drawer. Great concept, but unfortunately over time the carpets just wore too much. It did not prevent the ricochets and did not trap the pellets as well as I had hoped. So how did I overcome this? Well, I overcame it with a simple layer of replaceable cardboard. And what I've done is I've drilled a hole in the top here. You can see this dowel. This dowel holds this cardboard in. And if I could just pop this out here, let me remove these target holders. If I can just pop this out, the inside has been filled with rags. Top to bottom, front to back, just old shop rags. And I'm telling you, it reduced the ricochets by like 99%. I rarely get a ricochet from anything that goes in the trap. What I get is a ricochet from things that, say, hit a hard object, such as if you ping it off the edge of the corner. I'm okay with that because I'm that good of a shot that I don't do that. Yeah, right. Anyway, what I've done is, like I said, this cardboard here, and it's just a replaceable piece with a 5/16 diameter dowel that holds it in place tight against the rags. And with those rags there, it stops the pellets dead. As soon as they go in there, they just lose all of their velocity into those rags. And when I remove the rags slowly, just give them a little shake as you pull them out, the pellets still drop into the drawer. So one way or the other, the whole project came together and it works. So there you have it, the modification of filling it with rags instead of the carpets to make it actually perfect in this case. I wouldn't change anything beyond this. Well, this one here is just a quick update. It wasn't that long ago here on the show that I repaired a Roland FD-8 hi-hat pedal for an electronic drum kit. And although the show didn't generate a lot of interest from the woodworking community, that was the whole purpose of putting it on Alternative Tuesdays. And those who own this kit I've received positive response from them as far as the repair goes. As far as my repair goes, the slices in that rubber bit still continue to work to this day. The hi-hat still functions properly, and although it's only been several months since I've repaired it, several months is longer than what it lasted with the previous repairs. So touch wood, everything's good for now. So if those of you are out there who are interested in repairing that FD-8 pedal, this repair seems to be much more permanent than the general one that you see out there of the Vaseline trick, which really doesn't work for very long. So there you go. The slices work. Keep drumming, guys. Well, this last update is one that I toyed with actually touching on, and it's monetization. I'm sure that all of you have already noticed that there are ads now on my show. And for years, I produced this show and put it out as often as I could, never putting an ad on there, and I prided myself on that. And unfortunately, at some point in time, due to different changes in both my life and different changes with the show, I honestly wasn't able to continue producing the show without something to pay for it. The show started costing me money. And believe you me, I really toyed with this. It played on my mind for so long, and I honestly didn't know what to do. I'm not one to go out and ask for money and that sort of thing, so monetization was my only option. So I have had a couple people contact me and ask me what's going on with the ads, but you know what, guys? Those ads are what are making this show possible, because I had two choices. I either had to cancel the show or I had to put ads on, swallow my pride, and allow that in order to allow the show to continue. So that's why there's now ads on the show. And for those of you that it bothers, I really apologize, but honestly, I struggled with this decision for a very long time before I made the choice to have the ads allowed on my program. How is it faring out for me? Guys, let me just tell you that the ads that are on this show, they're not going to make me rich. But what they do enable me to do is get enough income from the program that I can continue to bring it to you, which to me is just a win-win all around, because I love bringing this show to you and hopefully you love viewing the show, and that's what pulls it all together. So there's the update there. Honestly, I struggled with it. I really did, but I had no choice in the end, and I want to thank all of you for continuing to support me even with these ads in place. I think we got a good thing going here, guys, and as long as those ads are there, we're going to continue it. So there you go. And there you have it. Part 2 of our update show. Guys, I hope that this has cleared up a couple things for some of you out there that may have been wondering whatever happened to this project or whatever happened to that project. If there's a project that I didn't mention that you're wondering about, ask me below. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in again this week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd like to hear your comments. Drop me a comment below. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesdays.